I don't think there's anyone out there right now who can look at our federal debt, our educational scores, our awesome and crystal clear and utterly predictable foreign policy, our deteriorating race relations, and all the rest, and say with a deep and abiding satisfaction that the country is in the very best of hands. And I'm willing to admit it's not just this current crop of miscreants, criminals, and imbeciles. This has been going on for a little while now. And to me, nothing is a clearer indication of the reduced cognitive ability among our political class than the way these tadpoles see themselves. So let's bring in Steve Green and Scott Ott to have a contest regarding the most delusional politician in America. Gentlemen, submitted for your approval. One Mr. Biden, who's on a trip into oddness and obsolescence. Yes, you see, Dim Joe is pressing the flesh in Iowa preparatory to launching his third and least plagiaristic run for the brass ring. He'll be 73 in November of 2016, just a few weeks short of 74, actually. And Joe freaking Biden, the dumber, less interesting, less glamorous, more error-prone half of this Dumb and Dumber 8-year train wreck, seems to think that the American people just can't wait for him to become president. And this is the finger that's a heartbeat away from all of the nuclear launch codes. Now, on the other hand, the rubber-gloved one, presumably, we have Anthony Weiner. No, I know it's no fair because his election's already over and he received, I don't know, what was it, maybe 5% of the vote for mayor of New York? This guy, after all that disgrace and ridicule, couldn't see that he was primarily made out of disgrace and ridicule molecules. Really, he just clueless. He just couldn't, he's running for mayor. So, Steve Green, let's start with you. When it comes into the looking into the mirror, oh my God, am I really that buff? Self-delusion. Who takes the cake, do you think? Biden? Weiner? Other?
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Delusional is exactly the problem. Like, I did this math a couple of weeks ago, and I want to share with our viewers here on Trifecta. You talk about the Democrats being the party of youth. In 2016, you mentioned Biden is going to be 73, almost 74. Hillary, the other presumptive frontrunner, also delusional, she's going to be 69. You add their ages together, and the result is 143. Subtract 143 from the year from 2016, and you get 1873, the year Ulysses S. Grant was sworn in for his second term. Wow, a U.S. Civil War general sworn in for his second. Yeah, so if you think about that, this is just an old party of gray delusional people. But it's no better if you go to Anthony Weiner, because as we learned last week in that New York City primary race, his vital number is only about 4 3/8.
Well, that's why that man is the vodka pundit, and that's why he gets the big bucks. Scott, you run for office, and you have a level head on your shoulders. You really do. I really admire you. Can you top Steve Green's example of raw self-delusion there with Mr. Weiner or Mr. Biden? Or is there somebody who I haven't even thought of who towers head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to having their heads in places where perhaps the lighting isn't as good as it should be?
Well, permit me to say that I come to praise Joe Biden, not to bury him. Think about this. You're Joe Biden. You've been in the White House now for, 2-3 years, something like that. You've been watching Barack Obama perform the job of Commander-in-Chief, the Chief Executive of the United States of America. Now, there may have been a time in your younger years where you thought to yourself, I can never imagine myself as anything more than a state senator or even a U.S. senator. The presidency is far beyond me. But then you've had the privilege of sitting by the knee of one Barack Obama and realizing, hey, this is a layup. I could do this. And so, who can blame him?
Are you saying that Biden thinks he has game like LeBron and can play in the NBA? I guess it's true. I guess he watches Barack Obama and says, man, anybody could do this. By the way, my favorite line about Joe Biden, which I use on the road all the time, is, guys, Joe Biden is not only not smart enough to run Walmart, he's not smart enough to run a Walmart. So, my friends, let me just wrap by saying this. I don't expect these people to be bright. I don't expect them to be successful. I don't expect them to be solid decision makers or have read deep literature or have a fundamental understanding of the rudiments of science. I don't expect them to know their own history or even to be able to add or to spell. They're in Congress. if they could do those things, they'd be successful and they'd be someplace else. But I do somehow expect that they should have a fundamental competence in the one thing that they as a class have and should excel in, and that is have a tolerably good guess at how far they can walk their mark. That'd be you and me, the American voter. Now, Steve and Scott and I have something in common with these reptiles, namely, we are our own product. And because we're our own product, and because we're in the business of selling that product, for us to stay in business, we have to have some fundamental understanding of what the market will bear. And personally, I think Joe Biden and Anthony Weiner are about as useless a commodity as a blind drunk Scott Ott and a stone-cold sober Steve Green. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.